Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any questions about real estate in the villages, if you're trying to buy a house at a good price, or you're trying to sell your home and maximize your return, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Two things to note. First, we produce this show every week. Make sure you check the date to make sure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. It does not include any properties in the VLS, the village's own internal listing service. So let's begin. We start by taking a look at a chart of the yield on the 10-year government bond, which is currently at 3.48%. Let's call it 3.5%. We're still at the higher end of the range. It's hard to tell which way interest rates are going to go. But with the Federal Reserve having injected liquidity to save the banking system, it's hard to believe that they are still as focused on fighting inflation, and it seems likely that rates may go higher still from here. Let's turn our attention now to the village's real estate market itself. This week, the total number of listings is 363, the highest that we've seen since we started doing the show almost a year ago, and almost 3 or 4 times as many listings as we saw then. This week, prices range between just under 190,000 and 2.1 million. I'm going to switch things up a little bit this week, and I'm going to show you a new version of the listings per square foot graph. I'll show you the old graph right after this, but this new graph certainly makes the direction of prices more evident. You can see that we reached almost $285 a square foot in May of last year, and we're down getting close to $260 a foot today. This is the graph we used to use to show the listing price per square foot, 261.89, the number this week. As you can see from the previous graph, because of the scaling of this graph, the previous graph gives us a much clearer indication that prices continue to head down. Once again, this graph reflects the same data as the previous graph. It just doesn't illustrate the trend as clearly. Here's a more detailed look at the listings broken down by price segment. You can see that in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, this week there are 203 homes for sale. Last week there were 211. The week before there were 216. The week before 211, and the week before that 207. This graph shows us how long properties are staying on the market. This is the median time on the market for all listings, currently 40 days. It may appear as if this trend is lower, but keep in mind there have been so many new listings added over the last several weeks that the median time on the market can be a little misleading. Here we look at new listings and homes that went pending, both over the last 7 days. This gives us some idea as to how many properties are entering and leaving the market every week, i.e. inventory levels. And you can see that for the last 7 days, there were 50 new listings and 43 homes went pending. Looking at the graph, the blue lines are the new listings and the pending home sales are the orange bars. Here we take a closer look at the new listings, which, as I said, number 50. They range in price from just under $250,000 to just under $1 million. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, the last 7 days saw 26 new listings. Previous 7 days saw 19, previous 7 20, previous 7 19, and the previous 7 18. It's interesting to note how few homes are entering the market over $900,000 over the last 5 weeks. Here we take a look at the homes that went pending over the last 7 days and what the median price per square foot was. 259.08 the number. There doesn't seem to be any trend noticeable in this graph. This graph shows us the median time on the market for the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. 39 days is the median time that those homes were on the market. This is far from the biggest number that we've seen, but we are still holding around 40 days, which is a lot higher than we saw a year ago. Here's another perspective on the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. This shows us how much the price had changed from the original listing price. A reduction of 5.25% is the median change for all of the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. This graph shows us how many properties sold over the last 7 days, 20 as of this week. They ranged in price from 217,000 to just under 1.8 million. 20 sales is among the lowest numbers that we've seen since we started doing this show almost a year ago. Here we break down the homes that sold over the last 7 days into price segments. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, the last 7 days saw 14 sales close. Previous 7 saw 10, previous 7, 21. 7 days prior to that, 13, and the 7 days prior to that, 16. Here we examine what the median price per square foot was for the homes that sold over the last 7 days. 227 is the number. This is certainly the lowest number that we've seen over the last year and probably for the last couple of years. This graph shows us how long the properties that closed over the last 7 days were on the market before they went pending. 27.5 days, the median time on the market before they went pending. Not the highest that we've seen, but it seems as if the days of sub 10 days are behind us. This graph shows us what percentage of listings have had to reduce their asking price from the original listing price. 53.17% of all listings have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. Not as high as the 56% decrease that we saw in the middle of December, but certainly we're at the highest end of the range here. And what was the percentage decrease? 4.76%. A reduction of 4.76% is the median change from the original listing price for all listings here in the villages. And the last thing we're going to look at is the summary, where you can see that of the 20 sales, 7 were taken off the market within 7 days, which is 35%. Previous week was only 25%. Of the 43 pending home sales, only 2 were taken off the market in less than 7 days, which is 5%, well down from the 21% of last week. And if you look at all listings, which number 363, 74 of them have been on the market for more than 100 days, which is 1 in 5, down slightly from the 21% we saw last week. So that concludes this week's look at the village's real estate market. If you're interested in buying a home and are trying to find a good deal, or you're interested in selling your home and are looking to maximize your return, or you have general questions about life in the villages, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Hope to hear from you. Take care.